Antwerp, a pivotal city nestled in Belgium, emerged as a prime target for both the German and Allied forces as the First World War dawned. It was geographically important because the potential advantages of disrupting enemy supply lines and asserting control over the English Channel. Tensions further escalated when Belgium rejected passage to German forces en route to France, triggering the German Empire to launch an invasion of Belgium. This would eventually lead to a siege on Antwerp, with the aim of capturing the city. In the tumultuous landscape of August of 1914, the German forces executed a sweeping offensive strategy, a crucial component of which was the capture of Belgium to facilitate their advance to France. Led by General Alexander von Kluck, the German army's strategy centered around encircling Belgian forces while deftly bypassing the heavily fortified French border. This marked the inauguration of the Siege of Antwerp and the beginning of a pivotal sequence of events. As the battle unfolded, the German forces gradually tightened their grip on Antwerp, subjecting the city to a barrage of heavy artillery fire. The initial phase of the siege saw the Germans shelling the outer defensive rings, attempting to breach the city's fortifications. Belgian and British defenders fought fiercely to hold their positions, but the sustained bombardment took a toll on their defenses. Both sides were taking considerable casualties, as would become the norm of this war, and one of the largest contributors was the modern artillery, which was much more powerful than the older artillery from 30 years ago. Due to preparing for this modern artillery, as if it was the same artillery that they had 30 years ago, both sides suffered needless damage and casualties. A bitter lesson, learned too late. The defenders of Antwerp implemented a combination of traditional fortifications and modern trench warfare tactics to resist the German advance. Trenches were dug to create a complex network of defensive positions, allowing soldiers to take cover from artillery fire and engaging in combat. However, the heavy shelling rendered some of these defensive structures vulnerable, leading to breaches in the defensive lines. As the siege progressed, the German forces managed to breach some of the outer fortifications and advance into the city's outskirts. Fierce street-to-street fighting ensued as Belgian and British defenders engaged the Germans in close-quarter combat. Civilians in the city also suffered greatly as the battle raged on, caught into crossfires and enduring the hardships of war. Despite the valiant effort to reinforce and resupply the defenders, the situation became increasingly dire for the Belgian and Allied forces. The Germans continued to push forward, slowly gaining ground and encroaching upon key strategic points within the city. The defenders faced not only the direct assault of the enemy, but also the challenges of dwindling supplies and exhaustion. As the siege neared its climax, it became evident that Belgian and Allied forces were facing an impossible situation. With their defensive lines compromised and the German forces tightening their grip, the decision was made to evacuate Antwerp. On October 9th of 1914, the remaining defenders began their withdrawal, marking the end of the Siege of Antwerp. The aftermath of the battle saw Antwerp firmly under German control. The city's occupation brought about significant changes in its daily life. The occupiers imposed their authority on the populace. This caused the Belgian resistance movement to gain momentum there, using the city as a hub for covert activities against the German forces. The Siege of Antwerp, while a German victory, came at a cost. The battle showcased the destructive power of modern artillery and highlighted the need for more adaptive defensive strategies. Lessons learned from the siege influenced the development of new tactics and technologies, as both sides sought to navigate the challenges of trench warfare and heavy artillery bombardment. In the broader context of World War I, the fall of Antwerp was just one episode in a series of battles that shaped the course of the war. The occupation of the city altered the dynamics of the conflict, affecting supply lines and strategies on both sides. The resilience displayed by the defenders and the street-to-street fighting in the latter stages showed the bravery of the Belgians, who refused to give up their country without a fight, and indeed, they never quite did. Thank you for watching this video. If you'd like to see more videos like these, then you should subscribe to the channel.